Hi, my name is Erin Spencer, and I'm a candidate for state representative here in Derry. I just wanted to take a few minutes to introduce myself and hopefully get your support for November. So a little about me. I have been a Derry resident for just under 20 years. I've been a certified veterinary technician for just over 20 years, and that role has brought me a wealth of experiences and opportunities, everything from running a field clinic team of 50 out on a remote community on a Native American reservation out west, to being faculty in a veterinary technology program. I also have a Master's of Education. And now I'm a small business owner providing training and consulting services to a variety of veterinary organizations and companies. I also was raised in a home where we were instilled with a strong sense of patriotism and a strong sense of giving back to our communities. And that for me manifested in running for public office. And I feel really lucky that this election cycle, I'm in a place where I have the flexibility to run and serve if elected. So to just start, before I get into kind of my top three issues, I just want to also talk a little about how I approach my decision making, because I think it's important. And that's usually through the lens of listening to people. And it kind of comes under, we hear the buzzwords equity and justice a lot these days, and we should. They're important words. And I feel like that's how I approach decisions in any leadership role I've held through my career or personal life. When I make a decision, I want to hear from those that may be positively impacted. I want to hear from those who think they would be negatively impacted or truly would be negatively impacted. Those that agree with me and those that disagree with me, and make my decision based on all of the information. I also feel strongly that being equitable among all of our citizens is important for our society. If we give that person a leg up to not do crazy things, but just have a successful life and be able to live their life, we're going to end up with more engaged citizens, and that's just better for everybody in society. All right, so some top three issues that I'm campaigning about right now, certainly not inclusive of everything I would love to do. But first one, your vote should count. I feel that over the last decade, we've seen corporations and those with a lot of money have a much, much louder voice with our legislators because they have money. And that takes away from the average voter. I want our legislators to actually be advocating and working for their constituents. So I certainly support getting big money out of politics. I also support independent redistricting rather than the gerrymandering we have now. No political party should get a leg up for a decade simply because they were in charge when the lines were redrawn. Second, I want to talk about property taxes. You can't run for office in New Hampshire without it, right? So really the easy answer to this is we had an agreement with the state that they would be taking in taxes, and part of those taxes would come back to the local communities. And they're not doing that, or they're not doing that at the level that they should be. And so I would work really hard to rectify that and make sure the state is getting the money to the communities that they agreed to a long time ago. Finally, I just want to talk about our beautiful state for a minute. We have roughly 84% of our state is forest, and we have beautiful waterways, both salt and freshwater. We have a great amount of wildlife and interesting wildlife. And we need to preserve that. We need to preserve it for ourselves who enjoy it and enjoy living in these environments. We also need to preserve it for the tourists that bring their tourist revenue, which is huge for our state. Part of that is continuing to enforce conservation laws and things like that, but also we need to think about increasing our renewable energy sources, and I will work towards all of those things. So those are my top three in a nutshell. I would love to hear your thoughts on those, whether you agree with me or disagree with me, and also what other issues are important to you as a Derry voter this election cycle. You can find me through my website, which is erinspencer.org. Feel free to use the contact us to get in touch with me. And also you can find me on Facebook. My handle there is Spencer for State Rep. Thank you, and I hope I can count on your vote in November.